Callum, thanks very much for joining us. First of all, how great was it to be back out on a football pitch last week and on Monday night?
Oh yeah, it was brilliant. Even with no fans, it was a bit less of an experience. But I think everyone just wanted to get back to playing football, and I think the main thing was, again, coming in for training, being with the lads, obviously, training every day, and it was good.
And obviously, as you said, without the fans, it is very different. And Monday night is going to be very different to what it would normally be like at Wembley. But you've made the playoff final. You're going to get the chance to play at Wembley Stadium. That must be a great feeling for you personally and for the club.
Yeah, definitely. Again, without the fans at Wembley, it's going to seem like I imagine a pitch is going to seem even bigger than it usually would. And but I think all the fans will still be willing us on to win. We'll all be motivated in our own ways, and obviously to get the win for the club and for the fans would mean everything. Even without them being there, they know that they want us to win. They'll be watching from home. So I think even without the fans there, we'll still be 100% motivated to go on to win the game, I think.
And just looking back to the semi-final, the second leg against Cheltenham Town, you scored 2 goals in that 3-0 win. Again, I know without the fans, it's a little bit different, but can you describe the feeling of when you scored those 2 goals? Because they were such important goals as well, weren't they?
Yeah, I think we went there with a plan, and it looked impossible from the outside, being 2-0 down to the team with the best defensive record in the league, in all the leagues, and then managing to win 3-0. I think we were just relentless from the first whistle and scoring them goals. I think, to be fair, even without the fans there, I think you just block everything out anyway. So I think scoring the goals just feel just as important. Like, obviously with 2,000 Northampton fans there, it would have been even better. But I think the goals were still as important as they would be in any other scenario. So it was unbelievable feeling.
And for someone as young as yourself, and maybe hasn't played as much first team football as others, what was it like playing in a game with so much riding on it? Like, what was your mentality heading into that game?
Yeah, I think obviously being young, and obviously I've had an injury I was out for a long time, and coming back from that, I just wanted to play football at whatever level I was given the opportunity to, and luckily Northampton gave me the chance, and I've managed to repay their favour so far. And playing in a playoff game, it just seems surreal because I think my mate posted a photo on Twitter after the game of me and him at the playoff finals back in, I think, 2017, and it just seems so surreal being a part of that, and now going to be given the chance to play at Wembley in such a big game. It just seems, it's just, can't believe it, to be honest. To be fair, I do get a little bit nervous before games, but once I'm into them, I do just settle down, I think, and surprisingly, I thrive off of bigger crowds, and obviously there won't be anyone there, but I think we know there'll be hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people watching on the TV, and I think it does motivate you because obviously you're in the public eye. Being a young lad, you need to, I feel like you need to impress and hopefully do well yourself as well as the team, and I think it's good.
And so just looking at your career so far then, you obviously spent some time out on loan last season in non-league. This season you're playing professionally in League Two. Did you feel that the time was right for you this season to make that step up to league football?
And to be fair, I enjoyed my time in the non-league. I was only there briefly, I think I played 14 games, and it was a good experience. It was my first loan, getting to grips with men's football. It was always going to be a tough start, and especially that sort of level, it gives you a perspective of going from playing under 23s football where there isn't too much meaning to it, going into a changing room where people, especially at that sort of level, they might not even get paid if they don't win or if they're not in the squad. So I think it gives you that sort of perspective, and then making the jump up from that league to this league, I think, to be fair, I've done even better than I would have imagined myself, in terms of scoring. I think I've scored more goals in less games in this league, which obviously shows maybe the better players you're playing with, it may help you, especially as a striker and playing in a team that creates chances all the time. But I think, definitely, it was a bit of a again, like with being injured for 10 months, I think it was a big step up to make, because I was only back for a month after that before I came out on loan. And again, like, Northampton took a chance on me, a young lad who had just came back from injury, and luckily it's paid off for me and for the club.
I was going to say, I just want to touch on the injury that you suffered last season. It put you out for almost a year, I think, didn't it? And that must have been a fairly difficult time for you as well. Like, how difficult was it suffering such a serious injury at such a young age when you're trying to, get a move to a club on loan to play professionally?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I had a few offers in the January just before I got injured, but unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, that couldn't materialise. And then 2 months later, to get an injury that put me out for, again, like, almost a year, it was a bit damning for me, being so young. And obviously, I did well in my loan, and just I'm sure I would have got, again, like, this sort of move earlier. And again, that may have worked out better or worked out worse for me. You can never really tell. So I don't think you want to tempt fate in terms of that. But again, yeah, it was just to be told that you're out for 9-12 months. It was never going to be nice. But I think it was an eye opener for me in terms of, if you want to get that sort of injury, I think it's probably better to do it when you're young, so you've still got years ahead of you. But of course, you never really want to get an injury like that. But I've been through that now, so I think it makes you a bit mentally stronger to deal with them sort of situations. Some people can react differently to it. Some people could say, "Oh wow, I'm going to be out for this long. What's the point in even trying to get back?" Or, "I'm going to crumble under this," sort of thing. But I think when you have good people around you and good people working with you at the football club, it helps you definitely, like, keep on track, keep on target to come back. And then luckily, a month after I came back from injury, I've hit the ground running again and managed to do well for myself.
And when you look at the season that you've had with Northampton so far, you've scored 7 goals in just 11 appearances, I think it is. You've won a Player of the Month award. You're now in the playoff final. It couldn't really have gone any better for you this year, could it?
No, I think it is. Again, it's a bit surreal. I didn't expect myself to do this well, and, like, winning the Player of the Month award. I think I was just taken back a bit from that, because, like, to be named the best player in the league for the whole month, especially in literally my first month of league football, professional football, and then to go on to scoring 2 in the playoff semi-final, and then hopefully next week we'll win in the final. I think that would just be some start first year in football. That would be unbelievable.
And I know you've only been at the club a short space of time, but how has Keith Curle been to work with, and what sort of influence has he had on you and your development?
Yeah, he's been good. I think, again, like, that, just before I got injured, he was speaking with West Brom about taking me, and again, like, that couldn't materialise for whatever reason. But to show that a year later, after I've been injured, he still had the faith to come in for me and take me, I think that just shows, as a young player, that's what you want to see: someone having faith in you and someone wanting to take you. And then luckily, I've been able to work my way into the team. First of all, I was a bit in and out, which is understandable with experienced players ahead of me. But once I managed to work my way into the team and kept in the team, I think he's realised what sort of threat I can bring to the team. And then, yeah, he's been good with me.
And Northampton's full of experienced players, isn't it? You just touched on it there, but you look at the likes of Nicky Adams, who've won promotion before. How much of an influence are those players on players like you? I know you've only been there a short time, but how much of an influence are they?
Yeah, I think when you look at the sort of careers that some of the players had, like Alan McCormack and Nicky, I think the experience they bring to the team, as you could see on Monday, they were, like, rallying everyone, solid in the team. And even in the dressing room, they know the right things to say at the right time. When you need an arm around the shoulder, or when you need a rocket, I think they know when the best time for each of that is. And yeah, they've been good. The experience they bring helps no end, really.
And everyone's different, aren't they? Just want to pick up on something you just said there. Are you the sort of player that needs an arm around them, or do you need a rocket?
No, I think to be fair, I'm more of a player that needs an arm round them most of the time. I think um, obviously there's certain scenarios when you need motivating, but I think I'm quite, from my style of play, you can tell that I'm more of a motivated player to give my all the time. And I think, when you make mistakes, I think you just need more of like a arm around the shoulder rather than a rocket, I think. But obviously, in certain scenarios, you're going to need either from anyone, to be honest, because if you're in such a big stage like we will be on Monday, then we need everyone at 100%, of course.
And finally, I know you've only been playing league football for a few months, but you've certainly proved that you can score goals. What would it mean for you to end your first season with promotion to League One?
Yeah, again, I don't think I can put it into words. Like, I think that would just be the ultimate goal for us to get promoted as a club. I think people wouldn't have really given us a chance. If the season carried on, I'm sure people would have written us off. And after losing 2-0 to Cheltenham, they wrote us off after that. So I think if we just keep proving people wrong, I think, as an individual and as a club, as teammates, we know that we have what it takes to win on Monday. We know that it's going to be a tough game. The games we've had against Exeter, I've played in one of them this season. Luckily, we managed to win that one. They lost the one before that, but as I think anyone's goal in football is to get as high as you can, get promoted, win titles, win trophies. And if I could do that in my first year, I think a lot of people have said to me, players go 15, 20-year careers without being able to play at Wembley or playing a playoff game. And to do that at 20 years old and hopefully to win it would be unbelievable.